What's going on, everybody? Very pleased to be sitting today with Gary Vaynerchuk. You know him. He's an entrepreneur and, of course, Topps Chrome VeeFriends. That's what we're here to talk about today. We're really excited about the rollout for this new product. Gary, how's it going, man? How are we doing today?
It is going really well, my friend. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be here. Congrats on what you've been building. And I'm thrilled to yap about it.
We're very excited to hear from you, man. But I'll just say this. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off right now because people who have listened to our podcast, they probably heard me when your Series 1 came out. And I'll just say, generously, I was initially skeptical of the set, of what was essentially starting with the prototype version of these characters.
Yes.
Fast forward a few years. Obviously, this bet is looking to pay off right now. But I'm sure at the time that I wasn't the only one who was saying,
I would argue,
yeah,
you represented the majority of the hobby. And by the way, brother, I'll be honest with you, I was empathetic to that. Like, there's many ways to break this down. Number one, many people who see Gary Vee, I'm aware that they think I'm an influencer, but I'm not. I'm an entrepreneur businessman who happened to later in his career build some awareness as a human, right? So some people might have thought like, oh, this is a quick money grab. So I'm empathetic. I understand why someone could think that. I don't have the audacity to think that people are going to spend 10 hours to get to know who I am. Mm-hmm. And I'm also not naive to understand that I'm excited, excitable, hyper, high energy. And I'm also aware that many people that have that skill go down the dark side, so that didn't bother me. Next, to your point, you called it prototype because you're being very nice. I'm aware that my doodles are doodles. I'm a doodler. Like, I don't think it's, Rembrandt. Like, I'm aware that like my doodles are, by the way, this is how I think about the world. For the people that have been my friends and family since I was 6, they know these doodles are everything to me. I doodled, right. And some of them are pretty decent. I'm pretty proud of what like the astronaut and the parrot look like. Like, I don't know, most people can't draw that. Okay.
Yeah.
And
some try to draw a dog, do it right now if you're listening. It's not that easy.
Some of the characters on purpose or when I was in Malibu for a week drawing in this cocoon, some of them were like I was tired and frustrated and all those things. And some of them are definitely very basic. Some are more advanced. But again, to your point, and Zero Cool was a startup.
Yep. And
so I don't know, there was a lot of reasons why somebody could have been like, this has no shot. It was that double blind auction, which was great, which is one of the reasons I did it. I love that the cost was going to be kind of protected. So that double blind thing that StockX did, that Uber brought to Zero Cool. But like, when those went off and everyone saw they were $2,200 a box, and even though we made only 1,000 high card stock, try to make something like a Flawless or National Treasures, it was never lost on me why the majority of the hobby was like, what is this? Or cynical. Because even as we sit here today, you and I, VeeFriends is still not fully integrated into the hobby. I would argue that 4 years later on the VeeFriends journey, a Topps Chrome launch, done this thoughtfully, with this kind of checklist, with the amount of effort I've been putting into local card shops and podcasts and content, and what I plan on doing from this day forward, now I think some of the skepticism, cynicism will start to thaw out. Because what's amazing about life? The truth does win. Like, either the cynics were going to be right or the optimists were going to be right. And in cases of entrepreneurs like me, both sides win many different debates. I'm going to work as hard as I can to make sure the optimists win this one, because I don't want to tarnish my reputation. But I appreciate that. And I promise you, I did not, nor do I ever take that personal. I'm too aware of why someone might. I'd be upset if someone that knew me well for a decade were cynical.
Right.
Because I would have thought my actions earned, that would bother me, quote unquote, more. But if I haven't earned that respect, well, then I haven't earned it, and I need to earn it. And so I get it, I guess.
Yeah. So going back to the decision to, like you said, kind of release the napkin doodles essentially as the first set, why did you feel like that was the best introduction to these characters rather than releasing their fully formed versions initially?
Yeah, I believe in the next 50 years that this is going to be one of the most significant intellectual properties ever. The truth of them is that they were doodled in their creation, and that is their most authentic provenance and form. That's the truth, like, this Bart Simpson looked really different when he was on Tracy Ullman than, to your point, I do not believe the destiny of these characters is going to be in my doodle form. But I don't want to bullcrap it. I'm proud of my doodles. I like my doodles, but I'm aware that many people are like, those are 3-year-old drawings. I get it. And I can see that. But I do believe that provenance and origin matter. And that is the origin of these characters. And even though NFTs was its original origin, trading cards will be and are, and one of the most foundational executions of the VeeFriends brand, and is the single most important framework, form factor to meet Gary Vaynerchuk, the founder's life. Trading cards mean more to me than any other thing I will do with this. Not movies, not cartoons, not the comic books, not the toys, not the video games. All things that I'm into, everything I just mentioned, they are all theme parks. They are distant to the trading cards because that is my true love. And so I wanted, when I was 90 and I run into you at an airport and we talk about these next 40 years, it's important to me that the most sought after trading cards will be the ones that I released as their rookie cards in their doodle form. There's something romantic and authentic about it that mattered to me. And I believe over time, as I build this, will matter to collectors.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're taking a quick break here to let you know about our shop, Mojobreak Shop. We have a physical location in Santa Clara where we always have the latest releases available the day they come out. That's sports, Pokemon, TCG, and Topps Chrome VeeFriends. But if you can't make it out to Santa Clara, don't worry. You can head over to mojobreakshop.com and you can use promo code VeeFriends10. You're going to get 10% off your next order. Or if you're in the Bay Area, head on into the shop. We're located in Santa Clara, 2060 Duane Avenue, and we're open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. I think now seeing what has transpired over the last few years, and now here we are with this set, sort of, I guess, the thing I keep thinking is sort of reverse engineering this hype model for this. And again, I think at the time was something maybe you didn't see the vision, but it's certainly something as we've gone along that I find very interesting, and an interesting bet, interesting model that we really haven't seen very much before. You kind of mentioned it already, like TCG and trading cards. This is where this brand lives. But in terms of like inspiration, are you going maybe sort of the Pokemon side? That I know a lot of people throw that out, but do you also maybe envision them as like this group of characters akin to like Looney Tunes or Mickey Mouse? Like, where do you kind of see it on that spectrum?
I see it as Pokemon on the facade from an energy and from a collectability framework. And under the hood, I see it more like a Sesame Street. And Looney Tunes is a good one, actually. That runs through my mind. Hanna-Barbera. There was this cartoon I used to watch when I was a kid that was influential on VeeFriends called Laugh Olympics.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I remember that one.
You remember?
Yeah, I do remember that. It was on reruns on Cartoon Network and stuff. I remember it.
Very good. So I got it on reruns on USA Network in the 80s. It was actually a 1970s cartoon. The Yogi Yahooies versus the Scooby Doobies versus the Dirty Rottens. And I love competition. I love sports. So I love trading cards, sports cards. So VeeFriends actually team up and compete with each other in the lore that I'm building. And, because some of the attributes are, I wrote a kid's book about Eager Eagle, whose eagerness is amazing, but not when it's too much, and his friend Patient Pig, whose patience is remarkably important until it goes too far, and then it's complacency. And so I've got a whole world figured out that's a little bit more, I would say, Sesame Street. I have good ambition to leave a positive impact on, in fact, the brand is purple because I think parenting and society has gone too red and too blue. And I think purple is where the magic is. And that practical optimism that is a big framework of the storytelling that will play out in the comic books and the cartoons. So that's how I see it. And I've had the luxury of seeing that from the day I invented it. And to your point, people along the way, NFTs, then Zero Cool Series 1, they've seen it along the way, but I'm already into things we're doing in I'm planning 2027 right now. And so, I appreciate you saying that. And look, I really do think I have the ability, and I definitely have the ambition to try to make it that big. And to your point, we've never seen a human publicly build a very large IP in public, meaning like, because of the way the internet now works and because of the way I work, I'm kind of like calling my shot. I'm a little Babe Ruthing it here a little bit, Sure. Like, comes with a lot of pressure. Like, it leaves me completely exposed to a lifetime of ridicule of like, you didn't do it, you talk all this shit. On the flip side, don't let me pull this off. That'll be very enjoyable. And honestly, I like putting that pressure on myself. And I'm really excited about it. And honestly, this is the great joy of this will make sense to you. I am a kid who getting a box of 87 Topps, because we grew up very humbly, my family, getting a box of 87 Topps felt like getting a Porsche. And when I got one, and I bought it myself through garage sales and trading cards, and I felt like, it was everything to me, brother. And here I am with Topps trading cards hitting the store shelves around the country at card stores. My dream was to own a card store my whole life. This is surreal. I'm so driven by gratitude. Gratitude Gorilla and VeeFriends is very much my friend today.
There you go. Yeah. And I really, what strikes me there too, is you sort of invoking Sesame Street and stuff like that. I'm a father of two, so I got two little ones. So yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to jump in, but you just inspired me. Even the packaging I thought about. So this box, and I know some people are listening versus watching, but if you clip this, I spent hours of design work, days, to pick a box that I thought that, I go to a lot of card stores, and I always smile when I see, the sister getting dragged in, because, I don't like using stereotypes. There's plenty of girls that collect, but I've seen unlimited examples of dad and son with the poor sister getting dragged along and can't wait to get out.
Right.
And I watched Garbage Pail Kids happen in '86. And it was both girls and boys in my class, not just the guys anymore. And when I tell you the amount of visual work and testing and thinking about why Fearless Fairy and Decisive Duck, who over-index very heavily with female collectors and VeeFriends for the last 4 years, or why Ambitious Angel is right there at the forefront. The fact that I know I'm building a collectible that literally this month, a father, and a good father's always looking for common interests with their kids. And a lot of fathers collect cards, and a lot of fathers collect sports cards and actually don't collect non-sports cards. The fact that I know some little girl tomorrow is going to pick up a pack of VeeFriends at a card store, because that's going to hold her over while the boys, rip a box at the counter. And that is about to become the seed of her and her father having a meaningful relationship, more meaningful than they were destined to, because they're going to have a common interest, which is how you keep friendships and how your relationships actually work, being into common interests. And I know how many dads, thank God, are now looking desperately to find things to connect with both daughters and sons. Brother, that's at the tippy top on the emotional. To me, this is a selfish and selfless endeavor. Selfishly, I want to build a $100 billion IP like Pokemon. Selfishly, I'm doing it with a product that I think could leave a lot of good value to the world and teach a lot of good values, just like Gary Vee tries to. And I think that picture I just painted you, I think is going to hit. I really do. I really see that. And it's going to be cool. And I'm going to get emails about that. And it's going to matter. And it's going to matter forever.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you can bring sort of that spirit of, like you said, Sesame Street, I mean, I'll even throw like a Mr. Rogers or something that you don't get that kind of, I can tell you, we're trying to find stuff to.
How old are your kids, brother?
I got a 4-year-old and actually just a newborn right now. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
That 4-year-old, if you don't forget, go to VeeFriends.com/cartoons. So because you have a 4-year-old.
Oh, he's going to love this stuff. Yeah.
Well, wait to hear what I'm about to say, because you're going to know what I'm about to say. And so are the parents. The people that make Coco Melon, the cartoons, are the people that make VeeFriends cartoons. I've made 20 cartoons. They're crushing on YouTube Kids right now.
Really? That's interesting.
So VeeFriends.com, now it's older. It's not Coco
Sure.
Melon preschool. It's made for 4 to 10.
Right.
VeeFriends.com/cartoons. Check it out and please send me a message if they liked it.
I definitely will. We're going to check it out tonight. We're going to hit up the YouTube and power that up. Let's get into the set here.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting set. In general, what excites you the most about VeeFriends joining this Topps Chrome family? I mean, what goals do you have here too for the future of this Topps and VeeFriends partnership?
It's a long-term partnership. 2020. I'm already halfway done developing 2026 VeeFriends Chrome. Look. We are back to Sesame Street. There used to be a Sesame Street skit that would show you like a couple things, and the song kind of went like, one of these things isn't like the other, right? They'd show you like 3 fruits and 1 vegetable. Topps Chrome's IP is Star Wars, Marvel, Disney, and now SpongeBob. And here I am cocking around like, hey, everybody, be friends. So, what I want to contribute to the Topps thing is that this little engine that like the distant, small, by far the smallest IP, the least known, the least demand, the least recognized, does well. And I think we will do that. I really believe that. What I'm really proud about is the product. I've collected cards for 40 years and 30 years carefully and thoughtfully. When people go to the checklist of this product, they will see many things that are really smart if you're a real nerd collector. For example, one of the really cool inserts in this set is a Y2K insert. Why? It's a hat tip to Pokemon, which did a 2000 Topps Chrome, the only year they did Topps Chrome. And so there's a Y2K insert that is monstrous. It's some of the biggest characters in our universe, and that will be sought after. Next, I'm a very big Kaboom collector, personally. So I went and found the original artist of the 2013 Prism Kaboom set, and he drew 10 inserts called Erupt, which is a 1 in every 13 cases insert in VeeFriends that I'm extremely excited about. Back to my beloved cartoons. There's an insert called Sketch to Screen, which has a 2-sided card like those cards, the 2-panel, one with those doodles of the original drawing of the character, and then on the other side, the clip from the cartoon showing how the character has evolved. Sketch to Screen. I was born in 1975, and it is one of the great Topps baseball sets of all time. So as you can imagine, in 85, I was collecting 75 Topps. There's a hat tip to 75 Topps baseball in the set. So there's a design insert to the 1975s with my characters in it that is a brilliant insert. There's a manga insert of every character. So there's the way they look now, and then there's a manga version of what they look like now, and that comes 2.3 in every box. So almost 3 per box, 2 per box. I'm excited about that. And then one of the big ones, the thing that I know a lot of people are going to chase, there's a character in VeeFriends called Entrepreneur Elf. And in there is an insert called Entrepreneur Elf's Favorite Entrepreneurs. And there's base cards, there's numbered to 5, and there's superfractors and autos of me, because I had to throw myself in there, of course, because my mom would have killed me if I didn't. Michael Rubin, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Michael Rubin autos in VeeFriends cards. Kevin Hart, who a lot of people don't realize how good of an entrepreneur he is. Obviously a great actor and comedian. Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, one of the great real estate moguls of all time. Stephen Bartlett, who has one of the biggest podcasts in the world, big in the UK. I wanted an international flair. Bethany Frankel, Ariana Huffington, Bobby Brown, Christina Tosi, who made Milk Bar, some of the great female entrepreneurs. Dana White. So there is Dana White Superfractor in VeeFriends under the subset of Entrepreneur Elf's Favorite Entrepreneurs. So a pretty low, it was very, and I got a big one. You may find this interesting.
Yeah.
Blasters.
Okay.
Retail, right?
Yes.
Normally made for more volume, more affordability. I made a 1-of-1 blast off insert of every character that is only available in blasters, bringing a lot more valuable to the blaster rip. Very proud of that. Innovated, hasn't been done before. So I think for all the people that are listening right now, if they're still jamming and we've kept their interest, even though they only collect trading card sports, I think they might be fascinated. They will at least recognize that it was a very thoughtful checklist that was really trying to pack an enormous amount of value. I mean, these boxes sold for $99 on pre-sale on Topps.com with those kind of autos, with these kind of inserts. It was, I will stand on this hill. It was one of the better ROI return when you rip the box. That was important to me. You know this, brother. We don't get ROI in our boxes anymore.
Sure.
So I wanted to do that. I needed to do that, and I did do that.
Yeah, I think I love that you included the blaster stuff. I don't know how many times on our podcast where somebody goes to a Walgreens and pulls a 1 of 1, and people have these weird reactions where it's like, why is that in a blaster? Or good for that guy for that. It should, absolutely. We always say this is what this is all about.
This
is having something affordable.
One of the reasons you just took the words out of my mouth. That's right.
It's having something affordable that a kid can go in and feel like, I got something life-changing and I'm in for life. Like, that's what we want, right?
Yeah, and not only that, forget about even the life-changing. How about, like, again, I grew up with nothing. How about being able to afford it?
Right.
I mean, look, forget about even life-changing. Did everybody forget? Like, these used to be 25 cents, $1. Like, these are expensive now. Like, we need more dollar packs for kids.
100%.
I mean, I get it. There's inflation. I get that 50 cents is hard, 25 cents is hard. But we need and by the way, kudos to Don Russ. You know, I think it was Don Russ. I think Panini did something with Costco for Halloween. We're starting to see more, and I could not. Opening day, I think Topps is trying to do, like, we need more. And in fact, we have in VeeFriends land, if you go to, I think people listening would be stunned if they went to eBay and typed in VeeFriends completed items. There's a whole world that's been going for several years strong, and now Chrome is going to take it to the moon. But we have something called super stickers in our world, kind of a homage to those 1980s vending machine prism stickers. You know how they have those basketball cards?
Oh, right. Yeah.
And our super stickers crush. And we're actually even thinking about doing a hobby product of super stickers because I just want an inexpensive box. Because what I learned with my Chrome release here is I don't control anything. I created the suggested retail price that I thought was going to be able to do this, but the secondary market is an animal in itself. And now it's coming out now, and it's not as inexpensive as I wanted it to be.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how much. I mean, we've been monitoring it here of what the life it's taken on so far is pretty remarkable. But again, you got these blaster sets. We should be having these available at our shop, Mojobreak Shop here in Santa Clara. Of course, we're going to be breaking this product on release day, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So we're going to do some like pick your letter breaks, pick your character breaks. I want to put you in the customer chair. If you log on, I'm like, I'm getting into a VeeFriends break. What if it's a pick your character? I want to know, give me like 2 or 3 characters where like I am in. That's a great value spot. What's your pick your character for a VeeFriends break?
That's a great question, because now I got to be thoughtful of not giving away too much alpha to create speculation.
Oh, for sure.
But it's a great. First of all, when you tune into the show and they're going to break it by character, this is huge, because all of you are going to be able to scroll the letter. You're not going to know anything about it. Like, again, I'm very aware of where the IP is right now. Most of you that tune in are going to go to this show and you're going to scroll through the little rolly bar at the bottom and figure out which character you want, right? What's going to be, or you're going to break them, you're going to auction them off live, or you're going to price them?
Probably both, probably pricing them out initially.
Here's what I would do. When you go there, and let's say you grew up in Texas and you just see that there's a considerate cowboy. I'll give you a visual because he's actually in the box, right? You might be attracted to that, where you're a Cowboys fan, and that's like, you know, like you're kind of intrigued right now. You're gonna speculate a little bit. You're like, okay, Gary, you got me. Let me give you 5 minutes of my time, a couple bucks. Let me try it. First, just react to something you're into, because I'm gonna give you very full disclosure right now. I need to develop all these characters. I think of this like Marvel. Let me give you an example. Black Panther came out in the 70s. It didn't get going until the other day.
Yeah.
So, you know, right now, I'm looking at this like the Rational Rattlesnake is, I don't have anything planned for it this year. But in 2 years, it might be our animated film about it. So no one knows. So I think you start with what you like. The other thing I would do to everybody right now is, before this, if you want to go to VeeFriends.com/quiz, we have a fun quiz where you can figure out which VeeFriend you are. It is built on very significant and sophisticated AI. I've been seeing everybody tweeting out the results. It is on point. You'll get a real sense of who you are. And it might make you, you know, if you find out that it says you're the ambitious angel, I have a funny feeling you're not going to be like, wait, I'm not ambitious. You know, like, it's really good. So that's one way. And then finally, if you come on Mojo and you see it, and you're intrigued and you're scrolling through it and you see alert ape and you're like, I love apes. Like I collected Bored Ape or I'm into apes. Just quickly go to Google and type in alert ape VeeFriends and look at the visual. You might look at it and be like, this doesn't look cool. And you can do that a couple times before you see one that looks the part and has the right words or the right animal or the robot or this. So that's how I would do it if I was telling a best friend how to get into it.
Yeah, that's a good call. So I'll be chasing, I took the quiz. I'll be chasing Empathy Elephant on release day. So that's my go-to.
Empathy Elephant is one of the erupts. It is the most popular character we made in Erupt. You are going to be, let me just give everyone the preview. The Superfractors, the Erupts, and the Entrepreneur Elf Autos are going to sell on eBay at a number where a lot of people in the hobby are gonna be like, is this freaking Gary buying his own? Like, I do not believe the hobby yet knows how deep the collectability is in VeeFriends. It seems like you've got a good sense of this. You've done the homework. You've been watching it from Zero Cool. Like you have a sense.
Yeah.
And you and I both know 99% of this hobby has no clue how radical the fan base has been, how primed, how slowly and steadily. This is not MetaZoo. I didn't go up and then down. And by the way, I'm rooting for the MetaZoo reboot. I want all IP to do well. But I've been for 15 years building Gary V, and for 4 years building VeeFriends. This is a much healthier collector base than most things have. And the hobby's about to learn that.
Yeah. And one last one before we get out the door here with the Gary. We appreciate the time. I'll give you the McConaughey at the Oscars question. 10 years from now, where do you see this brand? I mean, we kind of talked about things, films. I mean, we've seen card brands, Garbage Pail Kids, Mars Attacks that have been adapted into movies, TV. You also can't ignore things like the toy market with Funko Pops and I think, what is it, Labubu? I keep getting the name wrong. Those are being huge right now. Do you envision a future? Oh, there we go. There's the Funkos right there. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure we already got some Funkos.
Was this Funko's jaw was on the ground at Comic-Con. They came over to my booth. We were next to each other, like the number one selling. They're like, I mean, and I get it. I get it. This is what's amazing about the Comic-Con crew that's different than the trading card crew. I think you know this. In our trading card world, there's a lot of flipping.
Oh, for sure.
And there's collecting. In Comic-Con land, there's a lot of collecting and some flipping. And that's what's catching a lot of people off guard. Where do I see it, brother? God willing, I'm healthy. More and more every day, I'm the CEO of VeeFriends, less Vayner Media, less Vayner Sports, less Gary V, even public speaking books, more CEO VeeFriends. That is definitely what's happening. And I believe with that kind of effort and time and allocation, I believe everything's in play, right? Like, and I think in modern terms, right? Like VeeFriends integrated perfectly in 10 years on whatever the roadblocks of Minecraft is of the day. VeeFriends perfectly integrated into whatever the Fortnite is of the day, right? Along with feature films, animations. But I do think, and this is why I bring up Pokemon a lot when I talk about VeeFriends, for everything that Pokemon is, Pokemon cards is foundational. I believe 10 years from now, we have the fanciest and most epic booth at the National with lines wrapped all around Chicago to get the exclusive, because we have built a true community of collectors and some flippers who really enjoy what we're doing for the kids, what we're doing for modern parenting, what we're doing for grown-up self-esteem. The brand is also 3 to 93. We have a comic book coming out that has an adult warning on the cover. It is much more mature content. It talks about very important mental health things. And so I'm trying to build something very real here, my friend.
It's been fascinating to watch from the beginning, and we're really, really excited to get our hands on Topps Chrome VeeFriends. We're going to be ripping it on release day. And Gary, of course, Vayner Media, Vayner Sports, VeeFriends, all the above. Very excited for the future, and I really appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you, brother.